Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Let's talk about Libra. When Libra's energy comes in, even outside of the time that Libra will come in, meaning that the energy will flow from its house where we know that we're in Libra season. Uh, what we will understand about Libra and its energy impacting us is that the energy will begin to tell us that there is injustice or um, justice. Injustice is imbalance. So many of us could look at our lives even today and look back over the past 3, 4, 5 years, and maybe even our whole lifespan, depending on how old we are, and see that justice was needed, but we may not have been aware or awakened to the consciousness. And when you look in the Bible, or if you're a Christian, when you think about the Bible, it says that great justice in Revelation, he had a sword on his that he had on his leg, and his name was written, Great Justice, and he rode on a horse. And so um, what we find is that justice is not just coming in to bring justice to me per se when I am imbalanced. Justice is asking me to bring balance within my spiritual self so that I can understand what's going on around me. And what I mean is, justice will begin to speak to us because Jesus is called great justice, the balancer, the scales of balance. What needs to be balanced in my life in order for me to make better choices. Oftentimes, people are blaming others for the injustice or the imbalance in their life, but they had no understanding of, the ideas of balance when they came here in the world. Imbalance is if you're born in poverty, then you're called to balance that out. Everyone may not be able to do it. If you have imbalance in relationships, you will be called to understand how to balance them out. When you look at, charts, what I found is that there's empty houses. And those empty houses for some people mean that they need experience in those areas. It's empty there because they need experience. And I've worked with people that said they felt empty. And it was an emptiness there because there was no balance. They really didn't know how to be in a relationship. Some people know how to work, but they don't know how to work things out at home. They know that they submit to professions and work areas because they are motivated on that money, or they're called to that area of work that they do. So there's a strong pull there. The lack of energy or knowledge in the house of uh, just saying, where there's a relationship or when you're in a work relationship tends to come up because we need to learn how to work in balance with ourselves and then with others. And yes, there are people that are not going to look at, what we're discussing, where they may need to bring balance, but it's not into their lives and in relationships. It's not up to them for us to look at them and tell them. It's up to us to come into a place of awareness to understand that we too had no idea that we were imbalanced in relationships. But you can look at yourself, number one, and say how you relate to people. Are you fearful of talking to people? Are you fearful of connecting? Are you fearful of getting in relationships? And a lot of people will answer and say, no, I'm not. But generally, no, I'm not is a defense mechanism so that I don't show vulnerability. Whenever you have many or hardships in relationships. It's not just the other person. It's us having to become aware of our actions, because awareness is not something that we just have when we come into the world. There are some people that come and they're higher frequencies and higher levels, yet we still have to wake up to the placement in the area where we keep having trouble. We keep having trouble sometimes because we won't work out that, what they call soul salvation, in that area. If it's in work, if you can't keep a job, there's a message there. You might be an entrepreneur. The imbalance is not looking at yourself. It's not getting upset with who you've worked with, right? Because there's two, it takes two to work at a situation. And whenever you go to work, it's my attitude as well as, the people that I work for or work with. And once I work with people, or as I work with people and I reflect on my actions towards them, which is consciousness, what happens is that I begin to bring a balance in. So Libra is about balance, but it's also called great justice. I did a video on Virgo, and Virgo is about the virgin, so you can begin to connect it, because once you know about harmony and balance, you can speak it. But if your consciousness does not begin to pick up on, and you're not going within to your heart to bring that readjustment, it's hard to make the changes in who you are. Especially, it's a lot of people that don't like themselves because of things that they do, and the lack of mastery that they have within themselves, the lack of self-discipline. And so Libra can help you with that. Libra can help you to, the Libra energy can help you to go within. And that's where, even with the scriptures, you call on Jesus, you call on great justice. A lot of people are calling on great justice to fight for them, but great justice has to fight within us to cut away the cords of deception within ourselves before great justice can fight for us with outer enemies, because our enemies are within us. We have called people into our lives to teach us about the deception that lives in us, right? And a lot of people don't want to accept that, because they want to continue to live in a society that blames, because, the world has taught us how to blame. So when you want and desire to come into the awakening of justice, it has to be about you realizing who you are, what you do, when you do it, and how you do it with others. It's not looking at others. It's not even playing, a game with yourself where you feel pitiful or self-defeated. You have to overcome those thoughts. You have to overcome those feelings. I can tell you firsthand, because I've dealt with them. And my main focus is to understand, when I go through situations, how did I call that experience into my life? How and why was I born in lack? But then, thank you, God, I was able to see and understand how to transform lack, because I am everything, you are everything, and God is absolute in us. That means that whatever cards you were dealt with and you might feel like they weren't the right cards, you have the ability to play the game the way that you want to, but not hurt other people and manipulate them. Because every time we manipulate or try to control people with antics or the way that we think, what happens is we have to go back to the drawing board. So that's a little bit on Libra. Libra is your balance. It's not just me saying that now that Libra is your balance. You use the energy to balance you out in relationships, and that balance is going to have you to tell the truth about yourself. Have you given a situation all? Have you balanced out the yin and yang within yourself? Because you can't be in a healthy relationship at work with your children in no way without balancing out the feminine and the male energy within yourself. That's the first place, and many people don't understand that because we haven't, been taught that. But this is the new age, and the Aquarian age is giving people the authority to break away from old paradigms of thinking and old teachings that really don't profit us. They did in one time, but as eras change, people are changing because the energy of consciousness is shifting. And then the next thing is that, we're in the Aquarian age, and the Aquarian age calls forth freedom. That's why your political leaders are having a hard time and people are marching, because people are getting the mind and idea that they want balance in their life. They're calling forth that energy of great justice to show them how to get a healthy lifestyle, healthy communities. Why do I have to live in poverty and eat junk food when I pay taxes and, so on and so forth? And as long as people continue to march peacefully and really to think on what, the discussions are and what they're marching for, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a conscious awakening concerning what they're looking for. And they'll understand that we were given the liberty to lead ourselves. I said liberty. Go look at the Statue of Liberty and really understand what it means, but why they have it there. Yeah. Go look at your justice system and really look at it and see what it means to the people, because so many people have been led astray with our justice system. It's up to the people to bring justice back in their lives, meaning that they understand justice within themselves, then they can understand justice outside of themselves. So there you are, a little bit of understanding on Libra's energy and what it is. It's not a fight energy. It is an energy that you cut away deceptive imbalance within yourself, myself, and know that when you come into a balance, to understand I may have been born a certain way, but I can change it through the power of God, then so it is. Now you guys have a blessed day. Bye-bye.